Hello everyone and welcome to It Goes Off, wrap of the round. We're looking at round 6 and Grantley Bernard. There was some unbelievable upsets.
There were some really good upsets. And Freaky Friday had two classics. The New Zealand Breakers 63 lost to the Wollongong Hawks 81. Big upset. The Breakers 10 points from Bruton and 9 from Abercrombie. For the Hawks, Martin 20 points on 7 of 10 shooting and Catron 10 points. The Hawks basically won this game on a 23-10 fourth quarter. The Breakers, they only shot 30% from the field, 21 of 69. They were just 3 of 18 on 3-point field goals. And only one player in double digits, and only just 10 points for CJ Bruton. Very unbreaker-like. The Hawks, they only had 49 field goal attempts for the game, which was 20 fewer for the Breakers, but obviously it was enough to get the W. The second part of Freaky Friday was the Melbourne Tigers 88 losing to the Townsville Crocs 95 in overtime in the cage. Tregar had another big game, 26 and 14. Mills 16 points, 10 assists for the Tigers. For the Crocs, Eddie Gill 30 points, 6 of 14 on threes, 7 assists, and Peter Crawford 23 points. Of Gill's 30 points, 27 came in the second half hour and overtime. The Tigers had 40 points in the paint, but only 6 of those came in the fourth quarter and overtime, and they shot the ball poorly from behind the arc in that same period, only 4 of 14. Gill with that big second half, but he missed a chance to win it with 1.8 seconds left in overtime, and the Crocs zone defence got the better of the Tigers down the stretch. On Saturday night, Gold Coast 107, Perth 92, Worthington 22 for the Blaze, and De Leon 21 points and 8 assists. For the Wildcats, Neville 22 and 7, and Kevin Lish continuing his good season with 19 points. The Blaze 13 of 25 on 3-point shooting, pretty good. They actually scored 65 points in the middle 2 quarters, the Blaze, 52% from the field and 52% on threes. You can't do much better than that. And they had 24 more points than the Wildcats on threes alone, which made a big, big difference. Neville, Lish and Knight all made good contributions, but the bottom line for the Wildcats was they just did not shoot the ball as well as the Blaze. Another overtime game, this one in Adelaide, where the Sixers 104 lost to the Kings 113. Johnson 25 and 8 for the Sixers. Import Warren had 21 points and 7 assists. For the Kings, Julian Kazoo was back at his best with 27 points, 8 boards. Kevin Ratch stepped up with 24 points and 9 rebounds. The Kings dominated inside, 60 points to 36 inside the paint. Johnson's numbers continue his campaign for most improved player. The Kings had just 7 turnovers for the games. As we said, 60 points to 36 inside the paint, and 22 to 15 in second chance points made a massive difference in the contest. Finally, on Sunday, the Perth Wildcats closed their road double and they got the win 70 to 64 over the Cairns Taipans. Wilson and Crosswhite did a good job for the Taipans, but it wasn't enough. Lish had 14 points and 7 boards for the Cats, and Everard Bartlett, a recent signing, had 11 points for Perth as well. Bit scrappy this game. Perth and Cairns combined for 43 turnovers. So not pretty, but as we said, Wilson and Crosswhite played something of a combined lone hand for the Taipans, while the Wildcats were able to grind out the win on the second game of the road double. They went 15-6 in second chance points, and when there's only 6 points in the ball game, that makes a massive difference.
Well, after those surprising results, amazing round of basketball, we take a look at the NBL ladder, and there is an absolute logjam up the top right now. Take a look at it. The Breakers, the New Zealand Breakers, they're on top, well, equal top with the Perth Wildcats and the Melbourne Tigers, followed by the Townsville Crocs. And full credit to the Crocs, given the injury woes they've had with Russell Hinder and Luke Schenscher, for them to be sitting in 4th spot is full credit to them. Paul Warpert needs the accolades there for the work that he's done with his team. Then we've got the rest. The Sydney Kings in 5th place after a good win on the weekend. The Blaze starting to make some noise. The Hawks got their season really back on track over the Breakers, and the Taipans are still hanging in there, and the Sixers look like that they have yet to find their rhythm in this season. So they've got some work to do. It's Heritage Round coming up, Grantley Bernard. Round 7 is where we reflect back on our past. It's going to be an exciting time. Get to see some of those shorty shorts and all the goings on of the year gone by.
And a very special edition of It Goes Off with a special guest.
It is. It's a Heritage Round It Goes Off special edition. So click onto that and check out all the fun that Leonard Copeland brings to the show, and also reflect back on some of the highlights in his career as well. Thanks very much. We'll see you next week.